Trump is removed from the Colorado ballot. IBM holds bonus from workers if they don't hire enough black people. And Mayor Erik Adams says that New York is a random place that sometimes you see a plane going into the Trade Center and another day you see your favorite business open up another location. Yeah, about that. All of that and more on today's show.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
When the left had its plan set out to attack someone relentlessly purely for what they say, then they would stop at nothing to accomplish that very goal. We saw that firsthand in 2015. That was when the people just started hearing about the fact that Trump would be running for president. They didn't like the new idea. This is even though everyone in the mainstream media and the celebrity class loved and adored him. Of course, none of this matters when a businessman runs for office. None of this mattered to the left, so they attacked him anyway. The reason why they did this was because Trump had an R next to his name and not a D. Indeed, if Trump ran as a Democrat, he would have had at least triple his net worth, his fortune, and his overall credibility. To prove it, we can see this with every single modern Democrat. Biden's net worth at the beginning of his vice presidency with Obama was at $2.5 million. Now, $8 million. Same with Obama. He had $1.3 million before entering the presidency, but then after he left, he had a shocking $242.5 million net worth. But Trump didn't run as a Democrat. The reason for this doesn't matter. He ran as a Republican, and he lost most of his net worth in doing so. Just look at the scene now. He is in court every other day just to prove something that others wouldn't have to do. After he lost most of his credibility, he lost opportunities that he would have had otherwise. We all know the things that they did to Trump when he ran, so there's no need to rehash that here. Saying in the year 2016, they were sure that all of these attacks would be enough to knock Trump down, and they were so sure of that they told Hillary that she would be the winner, but in reality, she wasn't, and in fact, it helped Trump win despite all odds. It turns out when you relentlessly attack the country's favorite person, you get little to no pushback. But in the year 2023, they're throwing everything at Trump at double time to make sure that this guy has a snowball's chance in hell to win. But just like the last time, these attacks they throw at him only make him stronger, especially when you can see who's the opposition is. An old man who can't climb up a flight of stairs, can't complete a full sentence without sounding like a mundling old Joe Biden. And also, with that being said, with overseas business partners during all of this, it's amazing to me that they will say that Trump is the bad guy, but ignore the fact that Joe Biden is the epitome of all of the things that they're trying to pin against Trump. Despite all of these problems on the Democratic side, they ignore them. The Democratic Party does this to attack Trump and throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the guy. Like I always say, Democrats will stop at nothing to stop Trump in his tracks because of what he tweets on social media. They would even bring back an old trick that wasn't used in about 200 years. That, you may ask, is doing something that wasn't done since Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election. This also resulted in a civil war, which in turn resulted in 620,000 people dead, so they should trend very, very lightly. What was that, you may ask? Well, it's taking the very person that the majority of the people want to vote for off the ballot, and instead taking one of the most popular people that people want to vote for off the ballot would lead to nothing good. But the Democrats, they don't care. This very thing was done yesterday in Colorado Supreme Court. In a ruling that was 4-2, they voted to remove Trump from the ballot. Now, you might be thinking, is this even possible? Is this overstepping the rights that the judges have? And are they really going to try to steal this election also? I have the same exact questions too, so let's talk about it. The judges technically have the right to do so, but just because you have the right to do something does not mean that you necessarily should. And yes, the ruling oversteps the jurisdiction of the case for Trump. Last but not least, if Trump is going to be taken off one by one ballots throughout America, are we really going to stand for this? Would the left really stand for this if we took Obama off of the election in 2008? Or would they call us racist like they do any other day? Think about that for a second here. With that being said, we do have a couple of headlines to get to.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
While you're also thinking about it, look at the shirt that I have on. Oh, never back down, and it's Trump's mugshot. So if you do want to get this, check out the link down below or check out shop.originalstudios.com and you can use code Dimitri for 15% off. So with that being said, let's dig right into the headlines of the week. So starting off, we actually have a James O'Keefe Media Group video that he posted on X. Breaking: video CEO of IBM admits to using coercion to fire people to take their bonuses away unless they discriminate in the hiring process. You got to move both forward by the percentage that leads to plus on your bonus. She said, the CEO said this about hiring Hispanics, and by the way, if you lose part of your bonus. After pulling ads from X for racism, quote unquote, IBM chief Amvrid Kashisha says that he will fire, demote, or strip bonuses from execs who don't hire enough blacks, Hispanics, or hire too many Asians. Asians are not underrepresented minority in tech in America. I'm not going to fitness this. If for blacks, we should try to go towards 13%. Paul, the chairman of Red Hat, a subsidiary of IBM, says in the leaked recording that the Red Hat has terminated people because they weren't willing to engage in racial discrimination through hiring and promotion. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act makes it illegal for employers to discriminate on the basis of race in the workplace. So with that being said, let's dig right into the video here.
Underrepresented and gender, you got to move both forward by a percentage. That leads to a plus on your bonus. By the way, if you lose part of your bonus. I'm not trying to finesse this. So for blacks, we should try to get towards 13 point something percent. On Hispanics, you got to get into the mid-teens. So let me say it. Asians in the US are not an underrepresented minority in a tech company.
James O'Keefe here outside of IBM's corporate headquarters in Armonk, New York. An IBM insider has provided us with an internal video showing the CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, using coercion to fire people and take away their bonuses unless they discriminate in the hiring process.
Let me go deeper in the Red Hat. Multiple leaders over the last year plus that were held accountable to the point that they're no longer here at Red Hat because they weren't willing to live up to the standards that we set in this space. This conversation takes place every single day, and a lot of it's behind the scenes.
They terminated executives that didn't discriminate, yet another violation of Title VII.
Of course. And I completely agree with what Steve Jobs did to IBM when he was still alive. Show the picture of Steve Jobs standing in front of this very sign right here, flicking it off. I agree with Steve Jobs in this aspect because it's just amazing to see this. I would do that to the CEO of IBM. I don't like IBM anyway. I think that they're not revolutionizing the industry like they once did. They're not trying to do that. They're just so focused on DE&I that they're not focusing on anything else here. Of course, hire the best person for the job. You're not going to sit there and say, no, well, you're a really good candidate for this position, but we just don't want you because you're black. Like, that would never happen.
Companies in the world, one of the most valuable and recognizable brands on earth. IBM Insider has provided us with an internal video showing the CEO of IBM, Arvind Krishna, using coercion to fire people and take away their bonuses unless they discriminate in the hiring process, which appears to be a violation of Title VII. This comes on the heels of IBM pulling advertising from Elon Musk's X, with IBM saying they have zero tolerance for discrimination. Quote, IBM has zero tolerance for discrimination, and we've immediately suspended all advertising on X while we investigate.
So let me add a couple of things with a Red Hat flavor on it. I think Arvind laid it out pretty well, but let me go deeper in the Red Hat. And as Arvind very much pointed out, and I very much understand, I am accountable. I hold myself accountable. He holds me accountable, as does the board for all of IBM. But we also hold the leadership at Red Hat accountable for that. I mean, I'll be very candid. Without an exception for privacy, I could name multiple leaders over the last year plus that were held accountable to the point that they're no longer here at Red Hat because they weren't willing to live up to the standards that we set in this space.
Yeah, and that's just discussing here because you're firing people just based off of the mere fact that they don't want to discriminate, which is a violation of Title VII. So just because people don't want to violate Title VII, it means now that they don't have a job. So that's a violation of another title. But that's besides the point. We do have another story to get to. I would like to cover the whole entire deep dive, but if you do want to check out the whole entire deep dive that James O'Keefe Media Group actually dug into, then you can see this on Twitter. Just go to James O'Keefe. I think it's the James O'Keefe. Let me just make sure what his Twitter handle is. Yep, James O'Keefe the third, right on Twitter. Okay, so moving into the next article, we actually have the Erik Adams story that I was talking about at the beginning of the show here. Erik Adams on why NYC is the greatest city. You can't experience plane crashing in our trade center. you can experience them. New York City Democratic Mayor Erik Adams generated controversy this week during an interview with a local television station when he said that one of the things that makes New York City the greatest city on the globe is the possibility people could experience a terrorist attack here. Yikes. The moment happened during an interview with the Dan Monero on WPIX TV's Picks on Politics. When Adams was asked to describe 2023 in one word, Mr. Mayor, we've come to the end of the year in a very eventful 2023. So when you look at the totality of the year, if you had to describe it, and it's tough to do, in one word, what would you do? And tell me why. He said, New York. That's not one word. It's 2 words, but okay. This is a place where every day you wake up and you could experience everything from a plane crashing into our trade center, yikes, to a person celebrating a new business that's open. This is very, very complicated city, and that's why it's the greatest city on the globe. Yikes. I don't think that he meant it that way. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there. I don't think that he meant it that way, but it just does not sound great.
Mr. Mayor, we've come to the end of what was a very eventful 2023, right? So when you look at the totality of the year, if you had to describe it, and it's tough to do, in one word, what would that word be, and tell me why?
New York. This is a place where every day you wake up, you could experience everything from a plane crashing into our trade center to a person who's celebrating a new business that's open. This is a very, very complicated city, and that's why it's the greatest city on the globe.
Yeah. I don't think that the September 11th, 2001, a terrorist attack, which resulted in nearly 3,000 American citizens killed, is the best projection of New York City that you could possibly give. So that's just a little bit awkward there. I think that Jack McGuire, which is a journalist, can actually sum this up the best than I could possibly, because I'm at a loss for words here. This may go down as the worst answer of 2023. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's a little awkward. I just don't know what's going through his mind. What's going through his mind here that he thinks that this is an acceptable answer? Like, how about you say, oh, you can see a car crash from one side of the city, and then you see another business open, and then you see a business close. It's a very diverse country. It's a very, very diverse city over here. We have a lot of events going on. You see some crime happening over here, but then on other parts of the city, it's a lot better. There's so many possible things that you could have said besides something that resulted in 3,000 people dying. Yeah, about that. Not good at all. With that being said, we do have another article to check out, though. We do have a New York Post article. So we have a prominent trans LGBTQRSTVWXYZ advocate charged with rape of minors in Pennsylvania. Wow. So a person that likes weird sex stuff likes weird sex stuff. Oh, wow. Who would have guessed here? A prominent LGBTQRSTVWXYZ advocate in Pennsylvania has been charged with allegedly raping 2 minors. Ew. Kendall Steffens, 37, was arrested on Monday and charged with rape, involuntary assault, unlawful contact with minors, and indecent, assault against people less than 13 years old. Among other offenses, court documents reveal were not immediately available. Steffens, who was a trans woman, so a fake woman, a man, in other words, had a preliminary arrangement in Pennsylvania court Monday evening, the court records show. The New York Post is misgendering this blatant guy. He is due back before Judge Virgin W. Furlong on December 29. Yeah, I say charge this guy immediately and give him the death penalty. Give him the death penalty because we do not take the rape of children, the sexual content done on children of less than 13 years old lightly. Give him the death penalty. Him, the death penalty. And don't go by his made-up pretend pronouns. He raped children. Can we have a little credibility in our reporting, please? Steffens previously made headlines when he was the victim of a very victorious hate crime in the group assault inside his South Philadelphia residence on October 24th, 2020. Yeah, but this does not matter because what? You were broken into and now you need to rape children? That doesn't make any sense here. Timothy Waring was sentenced in February to 11.5 to 23 months of house arrest for her aggravated assault and conspiracy charges related to her role in the attack, CBS News noted. She was also convicted of hate crimes. Okay, now which she is she talking about? Okay, so I think this is back to Kendall. He was convicted of hate crimes, which Pennsylvania lists as summary offenses, the outlet explained. Waring will now be available for paroles until after 18 months of home confinement, 120 community service hours, and an apology left in Severin, and the court-mounted anger management is all completed. Okay, wait now. So now I'm confused which she the New York Post is talking about. I think this is not Kendall. I think the she that they're talking about in this sentence here is the person that broke into the tranny's home. The 2020 attack made Steffens into a popular neighborhood activist who pushed local lawmakers to pursue justice for violence committed against LGBTQRSTVWXYZ community members, the outlet reported. Quote unquote, I went to class the next day. I was beaten because, let me tell you something, no one is going to steal my pride. No one is going to steal my power. We deserve better than we've gotten. We are human beings, Steffens told the CBS in March this year. And then he immediately raped 2 children, allegedly. But, I mean, this is in court right now. The aunt came out. The grandma came out. Why would a 9-year-old come out and say this and an 11-year-old come out and say this if it wasn't true? It's a question. We're going to have some answers soon. Steffens' bail has been set at $250,000, according to court records. I say put more. I just don't get this. What? So this guy was going to court and he was just beaten up because what? For no reason at all? I highly doubt that. New York Post, you need to update all these pronouns because they are incorrect. Okay, this is a guy that we are talking about. But whatever. I guess New York Post, you do your own thing. So, with that being said, we are going to sum up this episode. I know it's a little bit shorter than usual. I'm a little tight on time today. So, if you do want to see other episodes by me, you can check out the link down below because I do have another, I do have like what, I think 150 episodes already. So, if you do want to check out an episode that you maybe missed, go back, and I do have a lot of episodes available, and I do have a lot of things that you can do to support this channel by checking out shop.Joe Studios. All of the things on that website, contributes to this channel growth over time, and we can get better and better quality. We can get more and more videos pumped out here, and we can get more and more reactions pumped out here as well. We do have documentaries coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, thank you all for watching, thank you all for enjoying, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.